first, welcome. Thank you for all of the messages and comments and suggestions and so on this week. A lot of valuable things. Appreciate all the viewership from Wednesday's episode. Awesome. DJ Chris Styles was awesome. He's really awesome dude. So appreciate that. He's going to come back on us with us again because we're actually going to do something together, a little venture. So it's going to be kind of cool. So God has opened up a lot of doors with this platform, which is awesome. Again, for those of you who are seeing this for the first time and you think that I'm trying to be cool because I wear these dark glasses, that is not the case. I have chronic Lyme disease, and one of my symptoms is very, 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 very incredibly insane headaches that I have on a daily basis. And because of that, I have prescription dark shade glasses because I'm staring into the screen added with the light in the room that has to be on in order for me to do this. Because of that, I have to wear these glasses or else you guys will just see me screaming and crying. And I don't want you to see that. So let's see. I had a few things that I want to talk about. But before I do, I want to do the mission statement, which is something for hopefully that everybody takes to heart when they join in to either watch or participate. Especially if you're engaging in conversation now and after. We know that so far there's hundreds of people, thank the Lord, that tune in later on, as well as the many folk that tune in while during the actual stream. So it's really awesome, and I appreciate you all. But I kind of made this mission statement because I think it's important that we keep it in mind while we're having our dialogue. Because so that we remember what the point is, because we're not here to argue. We're not here to bully. We're not here to call names. We're not here to incite something that serves as a distraction to the actual point or the actual messages that we're trying to deliver or attempting to deliver. I don't like the word try. So I came up with this mission statement. It says, I and we acknowledge and express the racial divide, racism, oppression, exploitation, systemic racism, violence against Black women, Black men, and Black youth in the United States and all over the world. I and we will proactively help create a path to a true United State in America. And that statement, if you keep that on your mind, you keep that in your heart as you're sharing your opinions, no matter where your views are coming from. As you guys know, I have people that are literally, they speak lots of hate to me, and that's fine. I want us to understand these things, and so we have to open the doors to all opinions and all experiences and all thought waves. We have to be open to understanding everybody so that we can find some kind of common denominator, some kind of solution that is something that we have in common. We all know that we all have, we bleed blood and it's all red, hopefully. And we all know that we, at least a lot of us, we believe in God, and some of us believe in whatever. Rather you believe in a head of lettuce, rather you believe in a piece of paper on a wall, that's up to you. But in any belief system, there is something that is more powerful than us. And because we know that, and because we believe that, then we have to try to understand what those things are in each other in order to find some kind of point where we can feel in alignment with each other so that we can find a peaceable solution to unity. And we can do something to make some steps towards stamping out racism in this country and hopefully abroad as well. Me personally, I hope that by the time my Smunchkin, who everybody knows that's my daughter by now, my Smunchkin, when she blesses our family with grandchildren, I hope that their grandchildren or their children and their children's children's and children's, So that would be, I guess, about 4 generations away, may not have to deal with this subject anymore. So that's what I hope that I'm able to be a part of before I leave this earth. So I just wanted to make sure every time we go on, I want to make sure that I repeat that mission statement, because I believe that if we're not all mindful of that, I think that a lot of times things get thrown out of whack in conversations, and things get convoluted. And I know that a couple of times I spelled convoluted wrong when I posted some stuff online. So please forgive me for all you spelling maniacs out there. So I hope the music isn't too loud, but I'm listening to jazz today. I got that kind of mood. So let me start off with something. First of all, oh, by the way, so we're going to have a special guest with us today, and most weeks from this point on. But today we're going to be blessed with the presence of Dr. NORA FAHLBERG, and she has an amazing story. Besides the fact that everything that she's done leading up to what she does now has always been about relationships, always been about people, and you know, she was in the care. She was in the care, I guess, health industry, and then she counsels folks to help young ladies and girls and really, you know, I even found after scavenging through some of her stuff, because I have to do my homework, I even found that there are men that she helps too. So I don't want anybody to think just because you see maybe the majority when you Googled her, or if you Googled her, that it's only women. It's not only women. You know, she has a strong mission for women, but you know, we can take something too. Everybody has something that they can take from somebody when they speak wisdom and knowledge and experience to you, when somebody tries to speak strength into your life. So anyway, so shortly, Dr. NORA is going to join us live, and it should be an awesomely fun time doing that conversation. Before we get there, I've had some folks, and you guys know I got to do it. So I've had some folks that tend to believe, and I'm not sure why, but they tend to believe that there are not two systems, and they don't believe in the systemic racism thing that we speak of all the time, that you hear so many people speaking of. And let me first say that this is just because you're seeing it now, and again, I have to focus on my white brothers and sisters, and letting you know that just because you are just waking up to it now, or just having your attention called to it because of social media, doesn't mean that it just began. This has been going on for centuries. This has been going on since the inception of this country. And so, you know, we live in a country where we're supposed to have certain unalienable rights. All of us, all men are created equal, and so on and so forth, as the words say in Constitution and Bill of Rights. We're supposed to have that, but unfortunately, that isn't the principles that the country actually physically was built upon. And so, whenever you have a system where things were founded. In other words, so for example, if you're building a building, and the first thing that happens when you build a building is that you will notice that construction people will come through and they break the ground. And so they take the ground and they dig it up, and it's like, and you drive by and you're wondering, why are they digging up this ground? Why is somebody, they're supposed to be building it, but they're looks like they're destroying it. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is that they're trying to infuse something more stable into that soft land. We all know that dirt and mud and so on, with weather, it cracks, or it can become soggy, wet, smushy, so on. Like if you know swamplands and so on. But even regular ground can do that. Just like if you go to the beach and you're building, you know, sandcastles, and you're trying to get so there's all this digging that has to be done. And then once they dig, then they have to they got these big things that sound like they're about to kill the whole earth, and they smash this hammer down into these big pylon things and smash those into the ground, and then they pour like 900 million pounds of concrete, and they make this foundation. So they have to tear things apart to to institute something below or beneath everything that comes next. And that thing that is under there, unless somebody comes along years later and wants to build something in a whole new way, that is how it's going to remain. And so we can take that same definition and we can then move it over to when we talk about systemic racism. What happened is that when the country was first in its inception, then slaves and indigenous folk were not considered equals to the white founders, quote unquote, discoverers, founders, settlers. And so because of that, every law, every rule, every system that was formed, whether it was legal, like police or whatever it was back then, when schools were made, when medical system was made, what's the word? I can't think of the word. But anyways, every system that was created without us being a part of it. So that means that the foundation of it all, as I was speaking about with the concrete, with the building and the pylons and so on, the foundation of it was built without us included, and it remained that way for hundreds of years. So there's hundreds of years that have been put together that where a whole group and several groups, as a matter of fact, of people weren't included in that process. So hundreds of years pass by, and finally, at a certain point, you have people that are brave, that believe in themselves, that are standing up for themselves, have a quote unquote movement, and then civil rights and so on and so forth, to try to attain some sort of worth. Not self-worth, but worth to the founders or to the people that control the land and the laws and the systems. So basically we're playing catch up to everybody else. And so that is where the systemic part comes from. And so what a lot of people don't realize, and I have to say it this way, but a lot of white America doesn't realize, is that that's how it is. And because of that, because that's how it is, that is why we have to say now Black Lives Matter. It's not because somebody's a part of this group or that group or the other group. It's not because we're part of Black Lives Matters LLC or anything like that. It's because we walk in black skin, and because we walk in that skin, and we're now trying to achieve equal seatings or equal seats and equal footing at the tables when we're trying to have seats in the room where it happens. I love that from Alexander Hamilton. But anyways, so when we're trying to have seats in the room, then that is why we have to say we now matter. We're calling your attention to the fact that we're not having equal seats, that we don't have equal an equal judicial system. We don't have an equal political system. We don't have an equal hospital system. We don't have an equal if you can think about it, it's not equal. You think about CEOs of companies, some major Fortune 500 companies, even some of the lower companies. We don't have seats in those rooms. We might have a managerial position somewhere, so on. I think there's a total of, it's between 6 and 13 actual CEOs of companies that are white owned. That's bizarre, but nobody thinks about that except us. And so we're trying to bring these things to the forefront so that eventually, again, when my children's children get to the point where in life where we are age-wise, that they won't have to deal with this, because everybody that is working like me, and hopefully you that are watching now or later, are taking part in fighting and knocking down this racism thing, because it's so awful, and we have so many people in this country now that even at the top of the country that are so divisive and so manipulative there's so much division that it's crazy, and which is creating all of this deniability that shouldn't be happening, because we all know that the things that I'm talking about and others are talking about when it comes to racism are true. These are factual things. These are not made up things. We're not making up that there was some boats and there was some and there was some slaves and there was some families separated and some murder, and so that's not made up. So we don't make up the fact that sentencing from between the sentencing disparity between white America and black or brown America is like, I can't do my hands in here, but like that. It's hugely disproportionate. I mean, this is one of the things that I wanted to address, because somebody's, many plural, had asked me about this. And so I as I always do, I do my best to provide some information. So if you guys go to theroot.com, and you can always go to any.gov, but I try to provide different things for people to look at, because some of these sources provide additional information when you keep on having questions, instead of just getting a source that just deals with that specific topic. So with this, I mean, we're talking about hold on. Okay, so we're talking about a difference of 60+% of all of black or brown Americans or U.S. citizens that get convicted of a crime, rather it's petty or rather it's murder or something very violent, get 60+% more punishment, harsher sentencing than white folks doing the same exact crime. That means that if and I know I hate to do it like this, but it's kind of funny. Well, not funny, but you know what I mean, silly. So if Dr. Nora, when she gets on, don't tell her that I'm doing this, but if Dr. Nora went and she went to like the Dollar Tree and she stole a book and it costs $1 and she runs out the door, right? And then she gets caught, and then she goes to court. Dr. Nora pays $20 or $50 ticket plus the court fees, and then she goes home. But me, Obi, goes and does the same thing, and because I can't run, because I have chronic Lyme disease and I can't move, so I can't get away, but then I get caught quicker, and then they find me and I go to court, I get 30 days in jail and some court fees. And so, do you see what I'm saying? This is the real disparity that happens in things like this. And then people talk about this law that President Trump signed, and I wish it's called the free. I'll have to look it up again, but it annoyed me so much because somebody brought it up in one of our conversations. It's this thing that he signed, which was supposed to be addressing this disparity. And what people don't understand about that is that all that thing does is that it takes 45 days off of the average sentence. So that's not addressing it, because we're not getting 45 days more per punishment. We're getting 45 years. Taking 45 days off of somebody's sentence that's sentenced to 20 years, what is that doing? It does nothing. So it still keeps the churning, the ever circulating, monetized prison system just rolling. And who are the people who suffer that the most? Black and brown folks. It's just what it is. That's not made up. That's just factual. And so until we all come to grips with these kind of things, then it's gonna really it's gonna be hard. That's why I try to give you guys places to look. But again, you can just Google it. Like if I say something to you right now, you can just Google it. You can pick up your phone and Google it and see if I'm right. And then if I'm not, you can then say, hey, you're wrong. And then, type it in and give me your info. But the point is that until we start doing this and start trying to to gather more information, make ourselves be more knowledgeable about what's going on, and all we do is sit around listening to somebody that's sitting in an office somewhere that is completely unattached, then and you're just believing what these people tell you, then what happens is that we have a whole bunch of people running around saying racism doesn't exist, systemic racism doesn't exist, everybody's treated equally, so on and so forth. And we know all you have to do is walk outside your door to find out that that's not true. And these days you can Google it and see that it's not true. Matter of fact, I know that if you're on Facebook, you don't even have to do very much, because nowadays on Facebook, the minute you punch on somebody's video and that video is over, the next thing that pops up is usually one of these things that's happening these days. One of these arrests and one of these beatings and one of the Karens and all that stuff. It's just there. So for anybody to say that this stuff does not exist, you are like, I don't know the bubble, and I'm not here to offend anybody, but literally eyes have to be closed. Your shade glasses have to be way darker than mine, because it's impossible to actually exist, to actually breathe breath and then deny that these things are happening. So I wanted to address that first and foremost, because I get so many messages, and I had, I don't know, 12 of them this week of just that specific thing. And again, let me thank everybody who does send messages. I get messages from teenagers and miserable people and happy people, and so it's really a blessing to especially, it's been a long time, and not to talk about me, but it's been a long time since I've been able to do some good work, because of what's happened with me physically with the chronic Lyme disease thing. But I also want to say thank you everybody who has been donating for that as well, because it just helps a million pounds. So please continue to do that. Dr. Nora helped too. But I'm going to bring her in a minute. I want to check my notes just to make sure there was nothing else that I wanted to talk about before that. If you need to get some water or a little snack, go ahead and get it right this very second. Get the fast snack. All right, hold on. Okay, so that's it for now. We'll do the regular thing where we talk about I pull the attention to a Black life that we've lost at the hands of that element in the police department. And I always do this. I don't hate police. I have police in my family. I love police. I love the police that protect and serve and use our tax money wisely. I love those guys. I love the police that are literally trying to get rid of the bad element in society. Love that. What I don't love, and what none of us should love, is the element of police that do the police brutality, racial profiling, murdering of Black people thing. Those police need to be very much not liked. So I want to make sure that that's clear, because I don't want anybody to ever misconstrue anything I say. If you do a crime, I'm like, there used to be this show called Beretta on, and it's like, how'd it go? Don't do the time if you can't do the time. Oh yeah. Well, there was this, and so that was the thing. If you do the crime, you need to do the time. Believe it. You need to get yourself right. You need to get some Jesus and all kind of stuff. But if you are stopped for a traffic ticket, and because you don't want to, you don't want to give your full name until the officer gets another what do you call it? Like one of their superiors to the field, because you feel unsafe. And they start to break your car door in and try to pull you out the car. Yeah, that See, so there's a difference. We all know what I'm talking about. Okay. So at this point, after a sip of coffee, which is very good, compliments of my Smunchkin, she bought me this new what do you call those things with the whatever it's called. Yeah, she bought me that thing. it takes the little tiny cups and stuff. Awesome. All right, I'm going to bring in now Dr. Nora. Um, she is just she's phenomenal, and she is all about helping people. And I'm going to she's about empowering women's lives, young girls' lives. I have a daughter, so I'm obviously smushy for that. Um, and and you know, when you have people like this, and there's a part of this story that I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let her tell you because it's very amazing, and then you'll understand more of why she is going to be on today. So, um, if you're in your couch or your comfy chair, do me a favor and put your hands together. No, I'm just playing. Uh, Let me bring in Dr. Nora Fahlberg. Here we go. One, boom. Hey there, Dr. Nora. How are you?
Hey, Obi, I'm great. How are you today?
I am doing awesome. Is my music too loud?
No, sounds good.
Good,
We can
good,
have a
good.
little background music as we go over this stuff.
Yeah, I have to have it at all times. It's just my thing. Um, so I told them briefly about you, but I would like you to tell them before I give you your first question. I want you to introduce them. Kind of how you would do it. Let them know where you came from, and with that special ingredient, which I think is was so awesome.
All right. I started doing what I'm doing right now and helping women learn to speak up because of the Me Too movement. I basically ended up being really pissed off because in my life, I had had way too many Me Too experiences. And I'd been raised to be sweet, nice, quiet.
Okay, I'm
Don't talk
great.
back, don't make waves. And
Awesome.
so I had no way to fight back against this kind of harassment and even assault. And it got to a point where I realized that no one was coming to save me. And so I was going to have to save myself. Through the years, I figured out how to do
Hold on
that.
one second. Hold on one second. I'm sorry about this. Can you get a little bit more volume from where you're coming from? I got some messages here. Can you give me a little bit more volume? And while she's doing that, what's up, Ross Bungie, Judy Bailey, Richardson, Shannon Fauci? Appreciate you guys hanging in there real quick. I didn't get to see you on the screen earlier. Uh, okay, yeah, we just need a little bit more volume because I can't do it from here.
Okay. You got it? How's that?
Yeah, you sound better. Okay.
All right, cool. Right. So, yeah, Me Too got me all pissed off. I've been coaching young women for years to learn how to speak up and stand up for themselves. And I ended up writing a workshop and a book. And it's really even, and now with what's going on with Black Lives Matters, it really is even more important because we all need to find our voices. We need to speak up for our Black friends and families. They need us to fight back. And still, so many of us are so meek and we can't. And it's time to get past that because we all need to join forces. We all need to support each other. So that's my mission.
But tell me, you left out a part of your story. So you weren't always in Atlanta.
No, no. I was in Florida for many years. And I'm originally from Illinois, Chicago. Went to college in Chicago. And that's where I started learning how to be a warrior. And in Florida, I really got it down. Was there a specific story you're looking at here?
Yeah. About your family.
Ah, yeah. So I'm from a pretty racist family. They're all Trumpers. At the age of 9, I read the Bible from cover to cover because I heard one of my family members say that blacks with blacks and whites with whites. Well, they sent me to vacation Bible school, and, Jesus loves the little children, all the children. And so that didn't make sense. So I read the Bible cover to cover, and I couldn't find that segregation stuff. And so at 9 years old, I started fighting against racism. And my entire life, I've beat my head against their walls. So I know these these people. I know the white people in their racism, and I never had any luck getting through to them. There's just no way. And I understand how they feel the way they do. They feel threatened. They have their position of power and they don't want to lose their position of power. They want to be able to look down on somebody. So recently, I was able to completely get away from them, which has been so liberating. And because I've been so blessed in my life with wonderful friends, all kinds of different backgrounds, I have a wonderful Black family here in Atlanta that has now adopted me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Yeah, she has a Black family that adopted her in Atlanta, hot Atlanta,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I still am having, according to what I'm looking at, having a little bit difficulty with some people being able to hear you. So I don't know if there's a different positioning of something. I'm sorry for that. I apologize. I just can't control that part of it.
I've got my computer volume turned up as high as I can.
Okay. Are you on a laptop?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So
I'll talk louder.
I love that too. There you go. You look, all that power you're telling everybody about.
Do that.
So tell me this. Here's the first question that I ask every guest, because I believe that every guest, um, their interpretation of their experience is a little bit different. It's got a little twist on it. So tell me, what was the first, outside of your home, what was the very first experience that you had where you either were involved or witnessed some form of racism?
Outside of my family?
Outside of your home.
I guess it would have been just seeing people hearing people on the street. For instance, in the area that I grew up in, the Quad Cities, we had the Big Spouderbeck Jazz Festival. Now, and I grew up, I started sneaking into blues bars when I was 15. So I grew up with all the great blues artists. And yet I would hear the white people in the audience disparage them. I'm like, but these people are amazing. Oh my God. And they would still run them down. So I just never understood it. So I guess it would have been in that. It would have been in the context of the concerts and the music that I sought out, to have people come and pay for tickets and then still be racist against the artists.
Yeah. So it's a very, very interesting dynamic. And obviously I've lived it. My father is Black and my mother is white. And so the horror stories we'll share sometime off of here, because I've told a few, but I won't, I want to get more from you. So with the Me Too movement that happened, that I don't want to say that happened, because it still exists, but it sparked again, and what is it that got you? And first, I want you to tell them about your book, but then after that, what is it that got you so, in a state where you knew that you had to create a piece of literature? Because everybody doesn't just say, okay, well, you know what I mean? Everybody has a reason for this, just like I explained to you why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Through the years, I practiced in healthcare. I worked many years in the film industry. I taught in adult education. And through the years, I've always been the person that people would confide in. And so I've heard so many stories from women and some men as well, about sexual harassment and assault. And it's heartbreaking. And when the Me Too movement started, my clients and friends started sharing their stories again. And I started getting really angry, because in my lifetime, we haven't made a whole lot of progress. It seemed like we did for a while, and then it didn't, just like with people of color. It seemed like we were getting a little bit better, and now it all seems to be going backwards. So if you're not a spiritual person, you might not get this, but for months I had prayed that God would give me something that I could use my experience, my skills, my talents for, to make a difference, because I wanted to get back into teaching. And one night at 3 a.m., I woke up and it hit me like a bolt of lightning that I had to write down my life journey and this Me Too stuff, that it was for me to do. And I got up at 3 a.m. and I wrote down my workshop. It was done in 40 minutes.
Wow.
And I did the workshop for a while, and then I thought, this needs to be a book so I can reach more people. And then it became a book. And so that's how it happened. I was pissed off, but I was begging for something to do. And this was what I was led to do.
I know that you have like 5 out of 5 stars on Amazon on your book. Really cool. Look, I don't even have a sentence that has 5 stars attached to it. Maybe one day. But so that's pretty freaking awesome. And so you turn this book into where you actually go around, and I guess seminars, right? Kind of like seminars.
Yeah,
Or
well,
what
I
do you
was
call them?
doing workshops until the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I already had the book in the works,
Right.
so it just came out last February. But basically, it's
Oh,
my
the book is called Finding Your Inner Warrior. You have a copy? Yeah. There you go. I know I'm getting my copy. My copy's coming in the mail. I know that.
Yeah, call me back. Yeah. So
You share it with my daughter, right?
yes,
My daughter.
yes.
My daughter's 20. She's 24. She'll be 25 next month.
Mhm.
So
Good.
I'll let her know that a copy's coming.
Excellent. Yeah, so it's my life journey. I actually didn't want to tell my stories because I'm an introvert. But I did, and I told some other people's stories anonymously, of course. And
Right.
basically, what it is, it's a how-to. It's a self-help book, and it's really short because a lot of us don't really like to read, and it's just
Like
the
me.
nuts and bolts of how I transformed myself from a doormat to a warrior.
Right.
I was just, men were always putting their paws on me all the time, and
Right.
we were told, I was told that that's just what it meant to be a woman. You
Right.
know what? And screw that. It's just like with black people of color. That's
Yeah.
just what they get. I'm like, that's not right. This is not right. I do not accept that. And
Right.
so it's how I managed to drag myself out of from being super passive to being a badass. And now heaven help the guy who puts his hands on me.
Right. Right. And you got some backup over here too. But listen, so I think I find it so commendable. Not that you need my praise or anything, because I'm just a little, whatever. But I think it's really awesome that you take that, in which is your main objective and your main mission, but you also lend it to the fight and our black plight as well. And I a lot, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, this is my mission, and I got to stay here in this lane and whatever. And in some ways, it becomes more harmful for each cause, that people are just kind of staying in this little, this little tiny bubbly thing, and more people are hurting than just the people that your mission is to help. Just like for me, there's more people. That's why you're here with me now, because there are people that need to hear what you have to say too. And because you're lending yourself to us as well, then I believe that I should help you get the word out on this side for that too, because I have a daughter and I have plenty of women that are friends of mine and I can't even say it, associates and colleagues, musician friends, people in the ministry. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I worked ministry for over 30 something years. And so I think there is a point where all of these things should be able to intermingle or commingle in a way, not to take away from one or the other, but because there's strength in numbers,
Exactly.
and because of that, if we work together on a lot of this stuff, obviously we have our job to do, mission to do, where our main focus is this and your main focus is that, but it doesn't hurt to kind of lock arms and walk in step for a little bit at times to help each other out, because they are so synonymous in a way.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
They are. It's all about human rights, and I'm so glad that you make that point. And I'm in this lane because this was my experience as a woman. Who am I to speak to the experience of people of color? Obviously, I'm not. but yet I've always been an advocate for those who have been marginalized. You know,
Right.
I've always been that because I feel that it's a human rights issue, and I'm for human rights.
Right.
So if I can, and with the BLM starting, you know, what I was researching, I went into the unlearning to see and really look hard at the privilege that I've had, and I've had so much white privilege. And you know,
Right.
now if I can use that to help, then I really want to. And one of the things that I've seen over and over again is, you know, you need us, you need white people to speak up. You need us
Yes.
to speak up. And so
Yes.
I'm thinking, well, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. You know,
Right.
if a white woman can't speak up for herself when a guy's got his hand on her ass, how is she going to speak up for anyone else? So
Hold on 1 second. Sorry to interrupt. You're listening to or watching or both Dr. Nora Fahlberg. She is hopefully now my friend, and she's an author, and she's an activist, and she's a self-help. She's a lot of things, and she's all about the love. And so if you're watching this after, please make sure that you look her up on Instagram. We're not done yet, but I want to say this just in case people are coming in and out. Look her up on Instagram at Dr. Nora Fahlberg. And she's also Nora Fahlberg on Facebook. Am I not supposed to tell them that? I don't know.
fine.
Okay, yeah, and so look her up because if there are some people that are out there and they really are in need of finding the strength that maybe you don't have it at this moment, maybe you don't have the type of relationship that maybe somebody has with their spirituality, like I do with God, or so on. Maybe everybody has a different makeup, so. If you're in need and you're looking for a way to strengthen your inside to stand up for yourself, you must. I don't care if you're a dude or a woman. You look her up and try to get a conversation with her. Get her book. She'll tell you more about that again too. But anyways, but that's why you're looking at this lovely white woman in the on the screen right now
With a black family.
with next to this crazy looking black dude. Okay, so back to you. I interrupted you while you were.
I
I'm
get
sorry.
it. I get it. You know what? And I am all about the love, but it's also time to be all about the fight.
Yes.
And I love that about your platform, the Food for Action, because it's time for action, people. We got to be calling our Congress people. We got to be voting. We got to be out there in the streets. You know, even, you know, a lot of my older white friends were getting together and they're like, you know, well, what can we do? It's like we can be there with water, and we can be there with medical supplies, and we can be there
Yep.
as witnesses, because if
Yep.
I'm filming the cops, I'm less likely to get killed than
Right.
somebody else filming
Right.
the cops. And you know what? If they
That's
kill
true.
me, then that happening actually will wake up more white people. And so that's how I go. That's fine.
Sure.
It's
Look,
for
and
us to
we don't.
work together.
And we don't want you to die now. Let me just let you know. But that brings to mind the thing that happened in Charlottesville, where the young white girl was the only person to die from that racist dude in the car trying to run over black folk and positive folk that were against that whole white nationalist group thing. And so those are the kind of things that you leave yourself open to, but again, we don't want you to die, but we do want you and our white brothers and sisters to stand with us and not think that it's okay to just be happy and content with the fact that you don't believe you're a racist, because that's what Dr. Noor just mentioned about white privilege is a real thing.
Huge
And
problem.
it is because of all the things that I mentioned before I brought her on that it means that it's a real thing. If white folks who quote unquote founded America, if they would have respected all of the people that they brought along here, or the indigenous folks who were here first, if they would have respected those folk as equal, as they quote unquote said that we were at some point of a Bill of Rights and the Constitution, if they had done that, then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that whenever you want me to shut up or anybody like me to shut up, you can address that. That's the horse, or what is that, elephant in the room. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Dr. Nora, I have a funny question for you.
All right.
My daughter turned me on to, and you heard me mention it earlier, my daughter turned me on to Alexander Hamilton. And when I saw her a few months ago, of course, before that, I already knew the whole true story of these things, because I was already trying to talk to people about this stuff, but I had never seen it. And I was like, that ain't gonna be good, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. Most people who are into R&B and hip hop, and I do all genres, but most people who are into R&B and hip hop music, were like, no, we're not looking at that, because it just kind of, stereotypically we're all stupid sometimes. But anyway, so my Smunchkin had me sit down with her and watch it. And we watched it like 6 times before I left. And I watch it at least once a week now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched Alexander Hamilton?
Actually have not, but I love history. I do deep dives in history. And so, I get it. I understand that. And I'm so glad that they did that. Okay. And now I'm going to have to go watch it because,
you have to watch it. And the reason why is because there are some things that deviate from what was actually the real history, just a little bit. But it was the thought-provoking element that they did, where they twisted some things a little bit just to make you say, it's what I hope we can do with this, and what I hope you do with your platform, is that we say some things and we are more intense about some things maybe than we maybe have to be at the end of the day. But when we do that, it makes people think, and it makes people go to want to find out, is that the truth or not? It makes people want to say, wait a minute, is there really something right or wrong or whatever about me or the way I'm thinking or seeing things? And that's what they did with it. And it's a masterful job. I love it. If you don't see it by the next time we talk, ooh-wee. I
will take that as my assignment, because that's what we all need to be doing now. I've met so many young people who just have no idea what's going on. I've had to sit people down and explain to them, how the 3-party system, how the 3 divisions of the government work, and why it's so important to vote. Even if you don't really like the candidate, it doesn't matter. You still have to go and vote for the party. It's more about the party thing. But we need people to begin to question everything, and we need.
That's right.
We're so lucky to have Google now, because you can go on and you can research and you can really look. And we have Snopes and we have PolitiFact. We have ways to fact check, and you can look for sources so you can know whether you're being lied to or not. But you just got to put a little effort in, and it's time to do that. We can't just coast by.
That's right.
And here's the thing with these white people who are racist, it's that a lot of them are just not curious, or they're lazy and they don't want to look at the actual facts, so they buy the bullshit that that gets fed to them. And I just had this happen a couple of days ago with a friend I had for 20 years, and we sit down to lunch, because really I'm interviewing all my friends now. I'm interviewing all of them, because I need to know where everybody stands.
Exactly.
So out of nowhere, this woman tells me that she's becoming a racist.
What
the hell? And she's talking about how, they were resisting arrest. And I'm like, you realize that what you're saying means that that resisting arrest is now punishable by immediate execution. Oh, no, that's not what I'm saying. That is exactly what you're saying. That is exactly. And so we have to be more aware. We have to think critically. We have to look things up, and we have to fight back, people. And we all need to work together, because it can't just be, me and women's rights. Because for me, feminism is all women, and it's kids, and it's men. It's all of us. And we all need to work together.
Hold on one second. Andrew Federiciano, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Cassandra Lawrence, Shannon Fouch again. Look, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and you are you're being blessed with the presence of Dr. Nora Fahlberg. She's so freaking awesome. I'm getting to know her as you guys are getting to know her, which is so awesome. Dr. Nora, let us know when you have to go, but I'm going to try to keep you as long as I can.
I don't.
Just the way I will.
I could bitch about this all night long.
Yeah, well, we don't want to. Well, yeah, okay. So listen. So I want to say that I like everything you said, and I think that and I don't want to say even think anymore. I believe that we are as a people that we are we're all guilty of this thing, and that's why I always and you heard me doing it before I brought you in, but I always want to try to provide information so that people, every time I say something, or if there's a big quote unquote subject matter that people are writing me about or leaving me messages about or whatever, I want to make sure that I have several. I've done like for example, like I'm going to be talking about certain monetary situations that have to do with the systemic racism laws, so on and so forth. I'm going to be talking about that later. And in order to do that, I went to 100 and something different websites and media sites and people who are teach these things in certain universities and so on. And that way, when I present something to people, they're not just getting me saying something, they're getting me compiling a bunch of information. And I find out from all of those sources, what is the common denominator of all those things? And then I present that, as long as that makes sense with the numbers and the lives lost or the lives gained or the money lost or the money gained, whatever the topic is. And a lot of people don't do that. And you said it a minute ago, and it's like you're listening to the guy that sits in the office. I'll never say his name, by the way. You're listening to the guy that's sitting in the office, and because of that, you're gonna walk away and believe that it's just golden, while you're sitting there listening to him say something that actually is the complete opposite, just contrary, like literally momentary contradictions live on TV, and then 2 hours later will deny that he said what he just said. And so people are blindly being led, and by the blind. That old saying, the blind leading the blind, and we'll get into a seat of privilege where you can. I have so many people who write me and they say, well, you shouldn't talk about this, you should talk about sex trafficking. Well, wait a minute, I do talk about that too sometimes. I worked at a church where we literally did outreach multiple times every year, helping women hide women and help them get safe places to stay. And so I did all of that. That's not what I'm doing now. Right now, I'm talking about something that me and Black American folk are dealing with every day, that I've dealt with since I was a kid. That's what I'm called to do. It's what I'm doing. So we have people that are so bent on, that opposing view, that they will literally try to enter my platform and tell me what I'm supposed to be talking about instead of what I'm talking about. And that is because of that blind leading the blind thing. And they don't see anything wrong with it. And it takes you, I don't know if you can see me pointing, but it takes you, Dr. Nora, and it takes my mom, and it takes my daughter who actually looks white, but she's not white. And it takes white people, white Americans, to literally who understand, or who we bring the understanding to then turn around and face other white people and share that. And you keep sharing it and keep sharing it. And that is how you're going to help us. Is there other things you can do as well? Sure. But it has to start with the conversation, and then the conversation becomes action. That's why this is called Food for Action.
Yes. And that's why, I'm really more passionate now about encouraging, white women. I've had women of all colors in my book, in my workshops, and my coaching. But, really white women, we need to learn to answer back to the casual racism that occurs around us all the time. We have to call it out. We have to have talking points. We have to be able to talk about these things.
Amen.
Because, it's the human ego The ego doesn't want to be challenged. If you have
Right.
privilege, you don't want to lose it. You know, if
Right.
I could give mine up to y'all tomorrow, I would. We know it's
Right.
not going to happen, but I would. But and yet I can use my privilege to help you. So
Yes.
this is what we need white people to do this. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. And I now I want to take some time, really real, not even quickly. I want you to take some time, and I want you to tell people how they can go to one of your seminars, or if you've started them yet, or if there's a sign up place, or if there's a I don't know what you can tell them.
All right. Well, you know, the pandemic has pretty much shut that down.
Okay.
I'm tech challenged, okay, really bad. I'm really,
Okay.
really bad with tech. So I haven't really gotten around to doing webinars yet, but I really need to
Okay.
get that together. But I'm on Instagram, and you can DM me if you have problems and you want to talk about stuff. My Facebook is actually Finding Your Inner Warrior. My NORA FAHLBERG, that's my personal, and I pretty much ignore that. So I'm on Finding Your Inner Warrior. And, you know, and sooner or later I'll get around to doing the webinars. But right now it's just kind of my book. But I made it really short and it's really inexpensive. The soft cover is like $6. The ebook is like
Amen.
$4. You can get it, you can read it in a day. It's super easy. You can share it. And then you can come on Instagram and you can DM me and you can get to me until I can figure out the tech.
Are you hey, Brian Dales? Yes, sir. Are you where are you making your book accessible from?
Pardon?
Or your book? How do they get your book? I know it's on Amazon.
Oh, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble. That's
Online.
my old store. I love Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble online.
Okay, so Barnes and Noble online and Amazon. You can Google Dr. Nora Fahlberg, and you can see get her book. You must get it. It's like, look, if you have daughters or sisters or friends that are women or sons, I'm getting to that. I like to leave that as the roundup. If you have a friend that you maybe you're not close, but from afar you see her, or a coworker you see every day, and she just looks like there's question marks all over her face, or buy her the book. Do something good for each other. I mean, this is how simple it is. This is how simple it is to sow into other people's lives. And this is why we do the networking that we do, because we all what Dr. Nora has and what I have in common is that we both have causes, and we both have things in our lives that mean something to more than just us. And for some reason, we've been given platforms and the means and the way and the mindset and the spirit to actually do it the way we're doing it, to help and stretch our arms out to you guys. So then just what that thing people call pay it forward. So after we do this for you, then go ahead and pay it forward to somebody else. You know somebody that's hurting. A young woman, young man who's got question marks all over their brain about, how do I get out of this, or how do I prevent that? Well, then guess what? Get them the book. Surprise them with a send an email to Dr. Nora and surprise them with a phone call, or surprise them with an email, or what, you know what I mean? That's directly for them, for their birthday, or just for a regular day, just because. Mm-hmm. This is what we have to do. God says to love your neighbor as he loves you. That means that the same love that you feel from him, that makes you feel so confident, walk around all yikes like that same love is what you're supposed to be giving to everybody else, not this old hatred stuff that people are doing out there. Mm-hmm. And so because people like her and myself do this stuff, you should turn around and then do it for other folk too. And if you don't, I'm coming for you. Believe it. Well, at least once I get a cure, I'm coming for you. Believe that. So Dr. Nora, tell me, you're in Atlanta, you're in hot Atlanta, and you're not that far from South Carolina, Charleston, where I kind of did a lot of my growing up, where I experienced most of the intense, I obviously teenager growing up, intense because I'm, class of '86,
Mhm.
so I'm old, so my intense run-ins with racism were in Charleston, South Carolina. Have you ever been to Charleston, South Carolina?
I have. I have
Yes.
been through there, and I actually, it was not just a couple years ago. My husband is mixed race.
Hmm.
He's a German national, but his father was Chinese.
Oh,
And
snap.
walking down the streets arm in arm, and the red hats coming by, we were getting some seriously dirty looks.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you know what? On the way home, we're taking the interstates because we are not going to break down out. Yeah, we're not going to break down in the country here. Um, so yeah, I I get it.
So I just wanted to throw that in there because I have to give Charleston some props because I'm from there, and it still is awesome, even though I can't take the humidity. It kills me.
Yeah.
But so tell me, so at your seminars, what do people actually get to experience? I've seen some things online, but they haven't seen them yet, seen what you do yet.
Well, when we talk about taking people from being passive and not knowing how to use their voice and actually defend themselves, I begin with self-love because most of us don't love ourselves. I mean, I worked in the film industry for 25 years, and all of those beautiful actors and actresses could tell you a lot of them have the same thing that we do. We just don't love ourselves. And from self-love, I work into confidence, building the confidence, and then from there to assertiveness, which is, I see assertiveness as confidence in action. I was confident for many, many, many years, and I still couldn't speak up. So assertiveness is when you can actually speak up and create your boundaries and defend your boundaries or defend other people. And
Right.
then in the book and the workshops, I teach the beginnings of verbal self-defense. In other words, so many times when we hear shit, we don't know what to say. And then we beat ourselves up because, I could have said this and I could have said that. So we work through, some of your options of what you can say. And then I go into the basics of physical self-defense too, because we all need to have basics of physical self-defense. So that's what I cover. It's ambitious. It's a
Right.
lot, but I consider it an intro, and I include a lot of different sources to go and get the rest of it. But it's enough of an intro that with this you have the basics of what you need.
So if somebody was interested in wanting to host you for a seminar face to face, or if they wanted to do a Zoom or how would they go about doing that?
They can contact me. I'll give you, they can DM me through Instagram, or I'll give you my email. That's primarily what I'm doing right now because with the pandemic, we don't want to be assembling in groups for a workshop. It's just not a,
Right.
it's just not a wise thing. So I'm
So you'll
definitely up
you'll
for
give
Zoom.
me. I mean, I obviously I'm going to keep you posted on up on my Facebook and Instagram. I'll keep things posted. Um, um, is there a prime like? It doesn't matter. If it's Instagram, Facebook, it doesn't matter where
You
they
know,
try to.
I'm not very good about Facebook because I'm really not happy
Okay.
with Zuckerberg. And even though they own Instagram, I'm
Yeah.
mostly on Instagram, so you can DM me. But I have a website, drnorafahlberg.com, but I'm happy to give you my email. It's
Yeah.
dr.
See,
Dr.
so
Dot Nora.
so you'll have it. You'll be able to look it up
Okay.
from on my
All right.
site, and you'll be able to look it up on hers. And don't hesitate, man.
Don't
She's cool
hesitate.
people.
I'm here.
She's cool people. She'll definitely answer you back if she doesn't get you right away. And you hear her heart. She's about engaging and creating some more warriors, man. We need
Time to be
more.
warriors.
That's right.
Time to be
That's right.
warriors.
Let me see. So let's see. We went over Atlanta. We went over your Black family. It's awesome.
I know, right? I love
That's
it.
great. And so tell me this. You mentioned that I think one of the first things on your little synopsis or bio, you said that you something happened in a car. Something happened that made you switch course? What was that?
Yeah, I was practicing in healthcare. I was a chiropractor, which seems completely irrelevant to what
Right.
I'm doing now, except when you lay hands on people and you make them feel better, they tell you everything. So
All right.
in my career, I heard the most horrific stories over and over. And you know what? I heard them and I listened and I held them and I cried with them. But then really bad drivers. I had two serious accidents in Florida, broken neck,
Ah.
herniated discs, and there just came a point when I couldn't practice anymore. At that
Okay.
point, I retired from practice. I began teaching in adult education, anatomy and physiology, and things like that. And then
Wow.
I was so blessed to get into the film industry, where I could work as much as I could handle it. If the pain got to be too much, I could leave.
Right.
Um, the film industry died in Orlando, so that's how I moved to Atlanta. I was lucky; it kind of picked up again here, and I
Right.
started that. But it just got to a point. I'm old. I'm older than you, honey.
What?
Older
Get
than
out of
you. I
here.
am older than
Well, then
you.
I need to know the recipe for that.
But well, I have a great anti-aging physician, but I have a lot of passion too. But
Yeah.
really, and this is, I was looking to do something with my experience and my ability, because I love counseling people. I love coaching. I love teaching. I love helping, and I
Yeah.
needed to do less with my body, and that was the source of the praying for so long of, God, give me another path. Give me something that I can use my experience to help other people. And now I have this passion, and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to help create badass warriors who can fight back against the injustices that so many of us face.
That's awesome. How is the pain? Are you doing okay?
Meh, you know, I'm acclimated to it.
Yeah.
There's,
I,
it's a
I
part of life for so many of us.
yeah, I try to explain that to people because people didn't know for years what I was going through, and because I just kind of kept it to myself. I didn't even let and my family is tight. We're like black mafia, but they I didn't even tell them until 2014.
Yeah.
So I dealt with it for 4 years before they even knew, and so once I started telling people, letting it out slowly, people were like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then once it got bad, at a certain point, then there was no hiding it anymore. So
For me, it doesn't do any good to talk about it. I
yeah,
do what I can to manage it. I talk
yeah,
to it. I talk to my doctors about it. Um,
yeah,
and other than that, I ignore it. I figure it's part of life, and I focus my mind on what I'm passionate about. And now I get out of bed every morning, thinking, what can I do today to wake up the youth? What can I do today to wake up the young people and make their lives better? How can I make them stronger? How can I help them? And so when you have that kind of passion, I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm helping other people, I forget about how much I hurt. So you're gone. Where'd you go? I guess we're done. So if you're still here, really, you can reach out to me, And if you don't like what I'm saying, tough shit. Mm, I get it. I get the positions. But now